go to my surgery.
How do you feel?
I feel nervous. That's basically how I feel, but gotta do what you gotta do, I guess.
Okay, world. Here's Paul. He did really well. Anything you want to say?
Not really.
No.
I don't have anything to say.
Okay. Well, you did great.
Surgery is done. All I remember is being in the operating room for like a second, and then all of a sudden I was passed out, and then now here I am with my neck brace on that I have to wear for 4 weeks non-stop. I'm going to be spending my first night here in the hospital so that they can monitor me and everything like that. They did a cervical spine disc replacement of C4 to C5 and C5 to C6. And as of right now, with the painkillers, I don't feel terrible, but I can't really move much and it's painful to move. So thankfully Lizzie's here to take care of me, and I'm really looking forward to getting home tomorrow.
Want to say anything?
I'm going home.
You're going home.
We made it home.
We did it.
Now it's 4 weeks in my neck brace, and then 2 more weeks without the brace, and then I hopefully can start climbing again.
How do you feel?
Hey guys, I'm Brendan Killian from Brendan Killian Training. I'm a climbing coach and a personal trainer, and I have been friends with, but also I've been working with Paul Robinson for a couple of years now. And our goal really has always been, hey, how can we keep you punching at the top level of outdoor bouldering? How can we keep you fit and healthy to do what you do best and do what you want to do? So when Paul started to realize that, like, hey, I've got to get this herniation surgery, he hit me up and was like, you know, what is it going to take for me to get back up to V15? And that started a conversation that has led to what we're going to show you today. And so right now, where Paul is in his stage of recovery, the post-op recovery seems to be going very well. But right now we are restricted within what the surgeon's guidelines are. But of course, we're gonna be as creative as possible. So with staying within those safety guidelines, we don't wanna mess up the recovery whatsoever. But we do wanna start saying, like, okay, well, what are some of the things we can do to address some of the softer skills of climbing, and to also make sure that we can set a really, really solid foundation so that when he is fit to be able to go back to regular training, that he's mentally and physically prepared and super psyched. Okay, so here's a glimpse. We want to show you guys a glimpse of what our actual planning strategy is. So whenever an athlete is trying to come back to a high level of sport performance after an injury, after a surgery, something like that, planning is really the important step. Plan the work, then work the plan. Okay.
Yes. So as Brendan said, it's about working backwards. So before this injury, I was climbing really strong. That is my goal again, going forwards, and I need to kind of realize where I was at that point. So there were kind of a couple of benchmarks for me that throughout my years I've recognized if I can do X, then I know I'm climbing near my peak. One of which is on the campus board.
If I'm able to do 158, 158.5 on both sides, I know that I'm climbing really well. I've been able to do 159 once or twice before, both with my left hand high. So going into this, goals are going to be able to get back to that 158 strength, but then also try and move forwards from this and be able to accomplish 159 maybe on a more consistent basis. And it would be incredible to be able to do it with the right hand first, because that's something I've never been able to accomplish before.
Okay, so obviously right now campusing is kind of out of the picture. Can't pull hard, can't have fall risk, anything like that. So let's just break that down, Paul. So out of all of that, right, there's an aspect of contact strength within this. We can't do the strength part of the contact strength, but what we can do is light contact, and really what we're talking about is hand-eye coordination, right? And based on some, maybe a couple of years ago, we had done some different finger tests and stuff, and that's actually one of the things that makes Paul stand out as world class. His contact strength is really, really good. I believe that it was within a couple hundred milliseconds, you could pretty much be at full power, and that's quite fast. So we don't want to lose the motor pathways or the muscle memory, or really honestly just the tactile feeling. Okay, so the drill that we came up with is really, really light. But basically we know that it's safe and it's okay for Paul to have a light overhead position. And we also know that as far as just gently contacting and engaging local forearms, so that doesn't mean pulling hard. That just means a light bit of activation in the hand and the forearm itself. That repetition of just the timing and the eye coordination of just contacting a hold. So we're gonna do about 5 seconds on one side, then switch arms. It's okay for the holds to be a little bit different. And just get used to keeping those pathways for the timing of that kind of coordination. The intensity isn't going to be there, but at least the timing is there, so that when we are able to safely build up the finger strength and the full body pulling strength, the timing we can take for granted and can start expecting really hard training right off the bat.
Another aspect that's been really important for me has been trying to build power. As a relatively skinny climber, I've never been that powerful, so working on my max pull-up has really helped me generate power while climbing. So what I'd really like to get back to is being able to do one pull-up with 100 pounds and then kind of working downwards from there.
Okay, so sticking with our theme of working backwards, if weighted pull-up is here, and Paul can't even safely right now, it's even a regular pull-up, we're just not, that activates too much, so we're not even at a regular pull-up. Okay, let's break that down into something with much lower intensity again. Keeping up the motor behavior, because we have to remember, how many months, Paul, has it been since you've been able to do weighted pull-ups safely? Like, because it was before the surgery, right?
Yeah, basically, once I lost a lot of the strength in the right arm, it really probably was not that safe for me to train. I was not able to climb that much, and I was not able to do much of a weighted pull-up whatsoever because I had lost about 30 to 40% of the strength in my right arm.
Okay, so we'll let you in on a little power secret. So if you want to get the maximum strength out of your weighted pull-up, you want to be able to sequence in a certain order, or to initiate motion closer to your center, closer to the torso, and then finish with the arms, okay? So we can practice that even if we're not doing full pull-ups, all right? So let's lead you through just sort of the mock pull-up, just coordination exercise, just make sure we're keeping up the coordination for what a pull-up has to be, as well as preserving the ranges of motion. All right, in our mock pull-up, we're gonna start as if we are hanging from the bar. So I'm gonna ask you to raise your arms up as if you're touching the bar. Fantastic. Okay, so first, do you feel any discomfort in your neck?
Nope.
Okay, that's a thumbs up, so we're good. No discomfort in the neck. Now, what we're gonna try to do is start the action from here. And this is really important. Don't try to bend the elbows right away. So what we're gonna do, this is gonna happen very quickly, but we're gonna move through it very slowly. First, it's going to be initiated from here. So that means puff the chest up and that'll automatically start, aha! That's gonna start to get the shoulder blades down and in into this V shape. Keep going, keep trying to get those shoulder blades to come in, the bottom tips together, and you'll notice that naturally as they, and the shoulders start coming down, naturally right about here is when the elbows want to break or bend. Perfect, that's the timing we want. And then we're gonna basically keep pivoting the bottom corners of the shoulder blades together, and that's gonna lead the upper arm bones down and in. And if we do it in that order, instead of just bending the elbows straight, then we can be more sure that we're maximally using all of the big muscles that are on the back and saving the smaller arm muscles for last. So let's just do that one more time, Paul. And then this is what we always care about. Slow is smooth. So at this stage in the recovery, we can move slow. We're gonna smooth out the motion. And when the motion is very smooth, excellent, keep it going, exactly, great timing. And remember, it's trying to collide the bottom tips of the shoulder blades together. Excellent. The smoother that you get, the more you'll be able to increase your intermuscular coordination, which is a fancy way of saying that's going to translate to power much better.
So another benchmark for me are my one-arm tanks. I've been doing those for a couple years now, and I feel like with the Beastmaker 2000, a really good benchmark for me is if I can hang the center rung, which is approximately 22 mils, that on both sides, if I can hold 15 to 20 pounds in my other hand, and I can hang it for 5 to 8 seconds consistently, that's a really good benchmark for finger strength.
For sure. Okay, so sticking with our theme, doing that exercise straight off the bat is not going to be safe for Paul's neck, so we can't do that. But when it comes to any single arm hang, if anybody out there has ever tried that kind of exercise, one of the hardest things, right, is like not to start spinning, right? So when it comes to that, we can work on that coordination safely without external load. So let's put an arm up.
Okay.
So this is going to simulate the arm that we're hanging from. Now when it comes to fighting that rotation, the secret is to actually use 2 rotations in the arm itself. So number 1, upper arm bone. We're going to look at the elbow pit, right? Or we're going to try to rotate the thumb so it's pointing back behind us. Now we're going to keep going until the palm is facing behind us. And keep going until you just can't rotate it anymore. Okay? So very often for most people, that means the pointy part of your elbow is facing forward. The sort of elbow pit is going to be facing backward. Now, we're going to try to keep rotating the upper arm bone. Don't let the pointy part of your elbow move. Now the palm is actually going to come back and rotate the other way. Dude, is your index finger doing something weird? Come on.
My pinky was.
Double check the elbow pit. Now, it's really weird, but part of the way that we can fight that rotation is to corkscrew the upper arm bone in and then pronate or corkscrew the forearm the opposite way. And when those get really wound up in those opposite directions, that can really fight the barn door.
Core strength, as we all know, mine's never actually been that amazing, but always something to work on. I've been sitting on the couch for 3 weeks now, recovering. I'm ready to do something. So I know I can't do that much. I know core definitely can, in certain exercises, utilize neck muscles a lot. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what Brendan has for me in terms of a core exercise that I can do to start off slowly.
Just so happens we got something up the sleeve for that. And really, it's also probably the most applicable type of isometric core exercise for climbing, which is basically just how to brace tighter. And when I say corseting core or corseting muscle, that's what I mean, is just cinching in, and we've got something for that should not endanger your neck. All right, so first thing is first, especially with a neck injury, when laying down, don't just kind of lay down like normal per se. You want to go onto your side first, okay? So side first, And then when we can be safely knees bent, feet flat on the floor. And then I'm also going to make sure that my head is nice and comfortable. So if it's not nice and comfortable, if it feels like it's pressure on the neck, we can always add a cushion or something underneath there. But I'm going to try to tighten the t-shirt so you can kind of see. This is going to be the first move. So the first move, you want to make sure that the alignment of the low spine is natural curve or neutral. And so a way to guarantee that you're going to be somewhere neutral, first we'll try a pelvic tuck where you tuck the tailbone, reverse as much as you can. That's one extreme. And then we're going to do the opposite. We're going to turn it the other way. That's the other extreme. So this is maximum airspace, minimum airspace. In fact, no airspace. And once I know both extremes and I memorize what they feel like, I can find the middle or something very close to the middle. All right, so that's kind of natural for me. In this zone, this is in terms of keeping tension on your feet. Okay, so if there's a hard move and you need to keep tension on the foot so your foot doesn't blow, then we need to just, right? And it's an invisible type of core squeeze. So it just so happens that we can do this, therefore, and we want to make sure that from here up, nothing moves. Okay, so I'm going to take a slight inhale in. I'm going to take my hands and see if I can get them just gently and lightly to brace around the core like that. I'm just holding my hand in place. And then after my short inhale, I'm actually going to try to pull my skin away from my hands without moving my hands. So slight inhale and then brace, pull away, not losing the curve or the air, changing the airspace underneath the low back. Hold that for 10 counts. And then relax. And if you could hear that in my voice, that's because I was restricting airspace in my lungs. And that's because everything was just squeezing in. Okay, so one last time. Neutral back, hands gently here, and then you're going to try to shrink wrap or pull your skin away. Tight. All the way to 10.
So this is going to measure finger strength, but in a much safer way than overhead. So straight from below, pulling straight up.
Okay, so we're going to take a look at Paul's results. Now the orange line, that's his left arm. And then the one that we really care about is the right arm, which is this tan line, because that is the side that was being affected by his disc herniation. And so as you can kind of see, right, these lines are actually pretty close together, which we're really psyched about. And even more specifically, right, so the peak force is pretty similar, okay, so far so good. And what we're especially psyched about is that the rate of his muscle recruitment in the first 2 seconds is quite similar. And that's the smoothness of how quickly and how smoothly this curve goes up. And that's a signal that as far as the way that his brain is able to tell his forearm how to work, that both arms are actually quite similar to begin with. And so that means if all our goal eventually when it gets cleared is just to push both of those lines up, well, that'll be quite straightforward.
After the first 3 weeks of basically no activity, it feels amazing to be getting back after it again, even though in a very mild way, obviously, because the most important thing right now is recovery from the surgery. But I think we have a good plan here.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk timeline. As far as some of the hard dates that we know, okay, so let's see exactly how far post-op are you now?
3 weeks.
Okay, so week 4, right? That's when you got the clearance to slowly start taking the neck brace off for little bits of time a day. Just
Yes.
To get...
Yes.
Okay,
Absolutely.
so we've got that, and then the next big thing on our timeline is going to be the big one, which is the 6-week post-op. So how far is that from now? Like
About 3
weeks.
2 to 3 weeks out, or 3 weeks out from the post-op with the surgeon. At that post-op, his original timeline was basically saying that I will be able to start climbing again. The brace will be completely off at that point, and hopefully top roping and light strength training starting at week 6 is what we're hoping for.
So since the week 6, we kind of have to pencil past that because we don't really know. But what we can do is set up a daily routine that we've come up with. And so we're going to have Paul do this daily routine aiming for 2 times a day. No impact, no resistance, largely balance and coordination based. So we want that high frequency, just so the neural connection is really strong. And then, we're kind of penciling in everything after that.
Absolutely. Stay tuned for more. Thank you so much.